I'd like to introduce Kara Goodman. So Kara is with the MAPC. She's going to talk about the support that the MAPC can deliver to yourselves to help you on this journey towards a smart city. Kara is the Clean Energy Coordinator with the Department of Clean Energy. She joined MAPC's Clean Energy team in August 2017, and she supports the team's various renewable energy and energy efficiency initiatives. Kara, take it away.
Good morning. So anyone who's not familiar with Metropolitan Area Planning Council, we are the regional planning agency, or RPA, covering 101 cities and towns centered around the Metro Boston area. With this particular program, we've been working with cities and towns across the state, as I'll get into in just a second. So the Department of Energy Resources has been administering a grant for LED streetlight rapid retrofits, and we have been administering it on their behalf for towns across the entire state for the last 2 years. It's a one-time grant. 30% covers the fixture and installation costs, and we convinced them to also cover 15% of the wireless controls costs, which is exciting. And under this program, we're actively working with about 60 cities and towns across Massachusetts, and they're finishing up their installs either this month or by March. And we help them with kind of the entire process, from buying the lights from the utility in the first place through implementation of getting the lights actually installed. So all of those pieces, we help them pull it together. So municipal motivations to do wireless controls vary. We already heard some of these from our last presenter, but maintenance reporting benefits, energy saving benefits, further reducing light pollution, extending the life of the LED lights, and kind of making sure you're best placed to future-proof your city and get in on all this cool stuff that's coming down the line. And they are not as wildly unaffordable as some people originally think they may be. Under this particular program, the standard photo cell tends to cost about $13. So you're offsetting that cost. You're getting an additional rebate of $10 or so. And so the extra cost of the node is closer to $60, which tends to add about 1 year onto the payback period of the project. And the original paybacks are generally in the 2 to 4 year range, so it's still a really good investment and doesn't add that much to the payback time. And MAPC was helping a handful of towns kind of on a one-off basis procure these wireless controls, and then realized that there was a lot more interest in it. So we did a group procurement number MAPC DUER 12, which was in May of this year, and it awarded to multiple bidders for these wireless control smart city products. So under this procurement, it was done on behalf of all of the regional planning agencies in the state, or effectively all the municipalities in the state. So any municipality is eligible to buy off of these contracts that MAPC holds with the vendors, and those will be valid for the next couple of years. So vendors had to bid a full package, all the hardware, the management system, the training, everything that you need in one place to get this up and running for your city. We allowed both radio frequency and cellular technologies to bid, and training was included as well. And you could also bid these kind of extras to add on to create the smart city solution: sensors, meters, cameras, and other devices. When we issued this RFP, we were working with 3 specific towns at the time that knew they wanted to purchase wireless controls, and we opened it up to say that we were going to do this on their specific behalf, and also to cover all of the other towns in the state through the regional planning agencies in coordination with them. So MAPC holds the contracts with the winning bidders, and it's available for any town to then purchase off of for the next couple of years. You just have to sign a subscription form, and then you issue a purchase order. So you guys don't have to do any of the procurement steps, which makes it nice and simple. Yes, you don't have to be participating in any of our other programs to have this, to buy off of these contracts. So this is just kind of the timelines here. That should say 2021. I'll update that at some point. But you can also even if you already have the system in place, you can just selectively purchase the extras off of these packages as well. So if your city already installed wireless controllers, but now you're looking into how to upgrade the system, how to make it a little bit more exciting, and you don't buy the system through the contract, you can still buy kind of the extras and the features, the sensors and whatnot off of these contracts as well, which makes it a little bit easier. So our 3 successful awards were CIMCON Lighting, Fred Davis, Silver Springs, and Verizon. CIMCON and Fred Davis both use a radio frequency, Verizon uses cellular. Echelon and Philips were also originally awarded, but the contracting kind of fell apart. So we've got CIMCON, Fred Davis, / Silver Springs, and Verizon all available for purchase under these contracts. This is a little bit, again, kind of technical specs of the 3 different products that were bid. I won't go into all of them, but I will note the additional kind of extras that were bid by CIMCON include different smart pole meters for EV, sensors for people, air, noise, gas, flood, and vehicle, a couple different types of cameras, and the Near Sky 360, which you just heard about. So those are all under this contract. Silver Springs did not specifically bid any extra equipment, but they do offer some of those things. And Verizon did bid motion temperature sensors, cameras, managed parking services, and a kind of similar smart city hub. So these are the municipalities that are currently moving forward with controls or will be installing very soon. So Air, Brockton, Drake, and Leominster had already previously worked with us to get these, and under this group procurement, we have Auburn, Beverly, Manchester, Medford, Needham, Tewksbury, Weymouth, and Westford, and a couple more that are currently in the program that haven't installed yet. We're kind of considering it still. So this is our nice map. You'll see it looks very similar to the last map you saw because a lot of these deployments are with the CIMCON technology. And so one of the requirements to get the grant under our current program is that you have to commit to some level of a dimming schedule because the Department of Energy Resources is doing this as an efficiency program. They're not going to incentivize for you if they're not seeing any reductions coming from it. So these are some of the schedules that some of our cities have implemented. They all kind of vary a little bit. Some of them have different schedules in different areas of town to account for different levels of traffic in the evening. Cambridge turns on the majority of their lights at 75% and dims them to 35% at 10 p.m. Worcester turns on at 80%. They dim them starting at midnight to around 50%. Air and Brockton, their plan was to turn them on at 100 and dim to 70% at midnight. And Leominster was planning turn on at 100% and turn them off at midnight. So there's really a variety of ways you can do this, and obviously you get varying energy savings depending on the schedule you choose, but it's really the world is your oyster. You can have as many options as you want with respect to the schedules in the different areas of town, et cetera. And the good news is that tariffs are evolving. So right now there are not any, or when our program started, there were not any tariffs that took into account wireless controls to allow you to get the monetary savings directly from the utility. But Eversource did recently pass such a tariff in October. Sorry, the text is a little bit small on this side, but Eversource was running a working group throughout the summer and fall that we were participating in. And they actually got a wireless controls tariff approved under their current ongoing rate case in October, DPU docket 1705 if you want to look further into that. And the new tariff calculates an effective wattage, which factors in dimming schedules over the year. They are allowed to request reports from the central management system to verify the schedule and the usage, and they require a metering accuracy of 0.5%. And they allow you to modify your schedule about once a year for the dimming savings. So there are still challenges with this, and we'll probably be revisiting this in a few years as the market kind of evolves. There are additional devices that may be put on, the reporting standards may change, but we were really excited that that did pass in Eversource, and so now that some of these communities will start to see much larger monetary benefits from actual metered savings from these controls, which is awesome. And we're hoping that this sets the stage for National Grid to potentially follow suit, but they don't have an active rate case right now, so it might be a little bit of a trickier mechanism to pass in that territory. Some of our quick lessons learned. You want to engage your municipal IT staff early in the process. Always a good idea with any project that involves technology. You want to be careful where you're installing the gateways. Roofs of municipal buildings are ideal because you already own the property, but sometimes there isn't power up there, or they're not easily accessible, etc. When you're doing install, gateways first and then the nodes helps the setup go more smoothly. Be cognizant these devices do use a little bit of their own energy, and the more extras you add on, the more energy they will use. But having them GPS enabled helps with installation a lot. And obviously just consider what your system can control, what the most important factors are to you, and what other extras you may be able to add on afterwards, as some cities have different priorities. Some are really focused on, the gunshot detection or the street monitoring for plowing or what have you. So next steps for MAPC. We are continuing to promote the smart controls as a technology. All of the LED streetlights that we've installed under our program, about 95,000, are smart control ready because they all have that 7-pin receptacle. So our contracts are still open for these smart controls, and anyone who previously installed LED streetlights under our program or in general can come back to us and get help with contracting for the smart controls. We want to keep monetizing and publicizing the dimming approaches to keep driving energy savings, because that's what we're all about. That's our bottom line. We want to support you when you're seeking to kind of integrate with these other devices and technologies. And we want to help the rest of the towns that haven't retrofitted at all yet keep retrofitting with LEDs. So if you haven't done an LED retrofit yet, or you have acquaintances with other towns that haven't, we do also have a consultant contract open municipalities can take advantage of through this coming July. So that's kind of it. I'm happy to take questions during the panel portion, I think. And this is my contact information. Patrick Roach is my boss. He knows a ton about streetlights as well, and that's our website. So thank you.
If there are any questions now, we can take them now too. So does anybody have any?
Just a quick question. You mentioned the $10 rebate. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes. Yes, so that's under our current program, under the Rapid Retrofit Program, which unfortunately is not taking new signups at the time, although there may be a possibility that we'll have a little bit of money left and we will be able to sign up a few more communities. But under that current program, DOER provides a 30% grant for materials and installation and a 15% grant for the wireless controls, which usually ends up coming out to about $10 per node.
You mentioned the Eversource tariff.
Mm-hmm.
Are they actually billing according to the node metering, or is there still a fixed tariff?
Yeah, so there's a few different, let me just go back to that. So they factor in your schedules, so they don't use the actual real-time data all the time, because that would take a lot more kind of processing power and constant monitoring. But they calculate based on your schedule what the usage should be, and then they kind of reserve the right to check on it once in a while to make sure it's operating as you said it would be.
The towns that have implemented these systems, it sounds like they were all doing dimming, even though there's no new tariff for them. So has anybody implemented any of the other features, meter reading, public safety, whatever?
So the part of the reason that they all committed to dimming, besides they're great environmentalists and want to save energy, is that to get our additional grant for it, you do have to commit to a dimming schedule, because it's from the Department of Energy Resources. They want to see that you're saving energy. So that's part of the reason. I am not as tuned in to the additional things that all of the cities have added. From everything I've heard, most of the cities are pretty happy to talk about these things, so I'd encourage you to reach out to them. But we have been kind of working to fill them in on all the options and leave that open to them. I think most of the, at least more recent ones, have kind of just said, okay, we'll do this for now, and then I'll think about that later. That'll be the next step. That's how many of them have approached it.
Thank you very much, Kara.